The Service Mix Report is DHSV's replacement of the original Operator Service Profile report. It is one of the most common reports generated in Titanium and is used for sourcing service output or activity at an agency level or clinic level. The report can also be run for a single dental provider, although when wanting to get summary output for all dental clinicians, we would recommend using the Provider Output Summary report as described in the other reports training video under this series. The Service Mix Report provides output measures such as the number of individuals treated, number of courses of care, number of visits, and service value at DWAR rates. It also provides a detailed count of the number of each type of service item provided. The Service Mix Report is accessible under the Productivity Reports group of the Titanium Reports menu as shown here. Displayed here are the available filters for running the Service Mix Report. The first field has your agency's password code, which needs to be entered into this field as described in the report's overview video. The start and end date defines the reporting period where the report generator will provide service output for treatments completed within that date range. The item code drop-down list defines which item code groups will be used in the report output. Options include State MPA DWAR. Choosing this means the Service Mix Report that gives the counts of treatments, individuals treated and visits etc. will calculate that output based on the standard 3-digit numeric service items that are funded under state funding via DHSV, such as 011, 012, etc. The two CDBS options will generate a report specifically on the Child Dental Benefit Schedule activity, as the report will filter to just the 5-digit item codes, beginning with 88, that are funded by Medicare. The Service Mix Report provides a service value, and this can be either at the Dental Weighted Activity Unit, or DWAR value, or can be at the claim dollar value, which represents the value of the child dental benefit treatment items at the Medicare fee rates. Choosing the State, MPA and CDBS DWAR option will produce a Service Mix Report for both the state-funded 3-digit items and the Medicare-funded 5-digit CDBS items. Choosing all item codes will produce a Service Mix Report for all the valid 3-digit and 5-digit numeric item codes, as well as the invalid item codes that are mostly alphabetic codes, many of which are added locally by your agency. The provider filter allows the report to be generated for a single dental clinical provider. The course of care type filter can be used if wanting to measure service output separately under emergency, general, or denture care. The private option represents the output under private practice entered through the private course of care type. So you can monitor your private practice activity using the Service Mix Report. A group option of general, emergency and denture combined has been set up to represent all the publicly funded output, which is entered under the 3 course of care types. That is, the group option excludes private practice output. The visit setting filter has the same options as the drop-down list that appears with visit records in the Titanium Chart tab. A common option selected here is the private dental setting, which represents activity under the emergency, general or denture vouchers. Note that option does not refer to private practice activity, which, as mentioned just now, is entered under the private course of care type. Using the private dental setting in combination with the course of care type filter allows separate reporting of output under emergency VEDS, general VGDS and denture VDS vouchers. Agencies doing outreach activity, such as preschool screenings, should make sure any treatments are entered under visits, with that visit setting applied. Doing that will allow specific reporting of that activity via the Service Mix Report and selecting outreach under the visit setting drop-down filter. The clinic site filter will list separately the clinics for your agency, and so allow service mix output to be generated for each clinic separately. The next filters in the report window are related to demographic details entered in the main patient details tab of Titanium. You can get service output including number of individuals treated for specific priority access groups, such as intellectual disability, or accommodation groups, such as homeless, or for a specific age group. A word of caution when running the service mix report for a particular priority access group, in that Titanium only allows one priority access category to be assigned for each client, which therefore excludes some clients that meet multiple priority access categories. As an example, running a service mix report filtered to priority access Aboriginal will underreport the true number of Aboriginal clients, as some may be assigned to other priority access categories higher up in the list, such as eligible child. The last group of filters allows the service mix report to be generated for specific provider types, such as a dental therapist. The provider registration type allows you to get output for specific provider groups, such as students working at your agency. So you can see that the service activity output for your agency can be assessed in many different ways by running service mix reports choosing any of the large number of filters individually or in combination. Here is an example of what the service mix report looks like. The header information of the report provides a count of different output measures calculated according to the filters applied when running the report. It does this by filtering to treatments that have a completion date that is within the report date range, and then from those treatments calculates the number of individuals, courses of care and visits those treatments were entered under. Only valid service items are used in this calculation, unless the All Items option is selected in the item code drop-down filter. Be wary when running the service mix report that the report output for the same date range and other filters will change over time. For instance, a report run on the 1st of the month for last month's activity will be different to the same report run, say, on the 20th of the month, as more treatments will have been entered this month that are backdated to last month, in particular treatments from vouchers. Noting the report references the date applied to treatments as displayed in the chart tab, not the date the treatments are actually entered onto the system. So a treatment entered today but backdated in the chart tab to last month will appear in a service mix report run for last month and not this month. The DWAR value of services is provided, as well as the value of services at time value units, which is another numerical measure of output. Time value units are like DWARs, where each item is given a weighting or score, which for time value units is based on the average amount of time to complete each service item. More difficult items are given a higher value than easier items. Note that time value units are not a measure of real clinical time, but merely an expression of the value of services using Stand Time Value Unit schedule. The detail of the report under the header information provides a count of the number of each of the service items grouped under the main item code groupings such as diagnostic, preventive, etc. If the All Items option is selected under the item code type filter, the invalid item codes will appear in the report and are grouped at the end of the report as shown here. For each item, the total DWAR and time value units is provided, which is calculated by multiplying simply the number of items provided by the item's value or weighting. So remember, when wanting total output of a clinic or your whole agency, the service mix is the report to run.